This is an older, and I'll be talking about the electron configuration rules. There are three main electron configuration rules. These are the Aufbau Principle, the Pauli Exclusion Principle, and Hund's rule. Alright, so I will now be explaining these three electron configuration rules. So first, the Aufbau Principle states that lower energy orbitals must fill first. This means that the 1s orbital fills in the 2s, and the 2p, 3s, 3p, and so on and so forth. So we would start by putting in a up arrow right here in the 1s orbital. That's basically the Aufbau Principle. Next is the Pauli Exclusion Principle. The Pauli Exclusion Principle states that an orbital can only have 2 electrons and they must have opposite spins. So in order to demonstrate that, we have the 1s subshell right here. And so we draw an up arrow and then a down arrow right there. That's the Pauli Exclusion Principle. And now Hund's rule states that orbitals of the same energy or subshell are filled with electrons until all are half filled with the same spin before pairing up of electrons can occur. So this basically means that, for example, like in a 2p subshell, these orbitals in the 2p subshell should be filled with one arrow in the same direction. So before filling the orbitals with the other arrow in the other direction. So in order to demonstrate that, we will do 3 up arrows. Right there, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to do the same thing with the down arrows. Alright, so now we'll apply all the electron configuration rules and doing the electron configuration for the element phosphorus. So in order to start, we would have to first fill the 1s orbital. So in doing that, we do an up arrow and then a down arrow, which would satisfy Pauli Exclusion's rule and the Aufbau Principle. Do the same thing for 2s. And for 2p, we have to use Hund's rule here. So we're going to put an up arrow in each of these to satisfy Hund's rule. It states that the all the orbitals in a subshell must be half full before filling the other half with the other spin, as relating to the Pauli Exclusion rule. So now we do the 3s orbital. It's the same thing as the 1s and the 2s orbital. Now we use the 3p orbital. It's a little bit different because we already have 12 electrons here. And phosphorus is 15 electrons. So in order to get to 15, we're just going to go 1, 2, and 3 to satisfy Hund's rule.